She's got a voice louder than a howling midnight wind, bringing truth to the airways with a whiskey grin. Country crazies, she calls her, waking up the blind. One by one, gonna open up their minds. Late night sessions, microphones hot and raw, taking down the lie, striking like a lightning's claw. Viewers addicted to her wild rebel yell. In this savage world, she's taking you out from hell. Country crazy's gonna get you straight. Truth bombs dropping, ain't no debate. Wake up people from a world of lies, one viewer at a time, opening their eyes.
Nathan Wade is missing. The House Judiciary Committee, which is investigating Georgia DA Fani Willis, needs Wade to testify at a hearing tomorrow on their love affair. But no one can find the guy. They're trying to serve him, but he's flown the coop, and now the U.S. Marshals are in a manhunt to track him down. Have they checked the condo?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now? This I had a good show for you guys. We'll get it going. Let me know if you hear me now. Audio. The video had sound, but you can't hear me. That's interesting. Hear me now? What about now? Technical difficulties, people. Technical difficulties. This is crazy. Probably the NSA getting a hold of me. Can y'all hear me? All right, I'm going to come back. I'll be back. All right, what about now, guys? Did that work? Let me know if that worked, if you guys are still there. How about now? Because it's showing it's picking up. Good? All right, let's get the show on the road, babies. I guess it had let me get Insta going back. All right, we are back. We are rocking and roll. Anyway, I was going to play Lover Boy. That's what I was going to play because, oh, Nate's missing. Boy's missing. How about that? Isn't that crazy? Okay, but you guys can hear me now, right? If you lose me online, it's because of the hurricane. Okay. Everyone, what I was saying earlier is let's pray for everyone that's involved in the hurricane that's in Tampa right now in the surrounding states. Tennessee's supposed to be getting some of the winds off of it, but nothing nowhere near what you guys are going through. So let's definitely be praying for Tampa and all the surrounding counties. But Nate has disappeared. Um, I wonder where he's at. I mean, he's an attorney. He knows how to dodge. He's told his clients how to do this stuff for a very, very long time. It's that simple, you know. Well, the WHO and the assembly had met, and recently they had with the assembly because see they couldn't get Congress to approve it, so they went to other countries and their assembly get it on record and agree to this pact. Let's listen to exactly what this pact involves. I mean, I've explained it to you guys. This is unconstitutional, but they want their Agenda 2030. I think they've been pushing and lying and saying Trump is a part of Agenda 2025 just so they could take the focus off what's really going on and what they're really trying to do is Agenda 2030. What is Agenda 2030? And what is this entire pandemic pact that they made?
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and I want to do a quick update about a document that got passed by the United Nations this weekend called the Pact of the Future document. It's two parts, one on science and technology and one about the youth and future generations. It is quite egregious, and it was done by a procedure called the silence procedure, which makes it a pact. And if no one objected, it is automatically adopted and put into the record as being completely adopted. This is the World Health Organization's runaround, or end around. Since they were not able to get the World Health Organization treaty passed, they decided to take it to the General Assembly. And it is even more egregious than what the World Health Organization was wanting to get passed. Let me just read you something really quickly about what is inside of this pact that is now being accepted by 193 nations around the world and equally open-armed accepted by our current administration. It says that this is the power structure, fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses. Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them not just as citizens of an individual country, but as a global citizen. So anytime you hear global citizen or anytime you hear sustainability, think that this is an egregious thing that's happening at the level of the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Anyone that has a dissonant opinion will be labeled as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation and memory hold. Perpetrators for unapproved information will be fact-checked and punished by the system, which will be operated and enforced by artificial intelligence. Punishments will include being locked out of one's bank account, being unable to make certain purchases, unable to get on an airplane, on a subway, drive on public roads. This is the future, according to the world's self-appointed overlords at the United Nations. These are unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions about our country, our sovereignty around the world. Nothing could be more important at this point in time than to get prepared, have water, food, digital access, flashlights, a way to communicate with family and friends. Now is really the time to get involved and get prepared, because this is what's coming. Our Congress is sitting on its hands. There was a press conference on the 17th about this, and no further action has been taken. So it's up to us to mobilize and to go forward, particularly with your local sheriffs, to get your constitutional sheriffs to say, this isn't going to be allowed in my county. Thank you very much. Take action. We've been talking about the onset of one world order, one world government, one world religion, one world money for a long time. Well, it's no longer coming. It's here.
And she's absolutely right, guys. You have to be prepared. They have went around Congress, and we're not playing. Everybody's like, well, we have a constitution that protects us. You guys have seen firsthand how they piss all over the Constitution. And what they're following is the 10 stages of genocide within their 16-year plan. They used extermination already in 2021 with the COVID vaccines, and that was their test run to their future. You're right, Lee. This is so important. See, they had Diddy, they had all these other stories going on to try to cover what was really fixing to take place. It is here, guys, and it is happening. They will stop at nothing with this election. They will stop at nothing to prevent it. See, the rotorolls in all these states, they're cleaning them up. They're finding millions of duplicates. They're finding deceased. They're finding ineligible ballots. They're finding so much corruption. They're cleaning it up. And this administration can't have that. They cannot allow there to be a fair election. That it's just that simple. And they won't. They've actually stated as such that Raskin actually said that they would not have a peaceful transfer of power that they would have him disqualified, and they would actually implement Civil War action. Absolutely. And they were dealing with it. I'm telling you, they all need to be scooped up. They all need to be taken to Gitmo, and they all need to be handcuffed and tried, is what they need to be. They have gone against our Constitution. I don't know. I've been screaming this for 4 years, guys. This is coming. This is coming. We have had whistleblower after whistleblower coming forward, and they have been treated as such. They have been treated so horribly. Listen to what one fellow FBI whistleblower has went through, and listen and heed what he tells the American people. You got to think, guys, he has been in the midst of this corruption. He has seen it firsthand. And this is what this fellow ex-FBI agent has to say when he was in front of the committee.
And everybody in the minority party, they're fearing what Donald Trump would do in the next administration, while they sit here and they look at the guy who's been persecuted by the FBI. And everybody in the room understands it. Mr. Allen, do you have comments you wish to make? I'll give you about a minute, minute and a half, and then I want to turn the rest of my time to Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir. I would just say that I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion. I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. And as a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary, go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths, and I know I'm Catholic, and read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
You know, Mr. Allen,
He's absolutely right, guys. You got to think about it, guys. There's 2 things here you can take away from this. You can listen and heed his words. He is just a law-abiding citizen who probably had a dream of being a part of something big. So he studied. He went through everything he needed to do to become an FBI agent. He becomes that FBI agent, and he sees what's being doing wrong, what is not right, what is unlawful. So he goes and tells the truth. What do? They make his life a living hell. They take his job away. They threaten him. They threaten his family. They do wrong by one simple person just like yourself and like me that just wants to live freely, have a family, enjoy life. But he was not allowed to do that. So he did the right thing. He told the truth. And no, the FBI will not hold themselves accountable. We have a 2-tier justice system. I can't stress this enough. They are betting on the Republicans of fear of that the election of voting, it's not even worth it. They're betting on that. They're betting on you silencing your own voice by not going to the polls, by not going and voting. Because, see, it's psychological warfare. They believe if they make you believe something enough that you will let fear be instilled in you and you will follow that. You cannot allow them to win. Vote. Vote your ass off. I would say, like it's the last time on earth. It is going to be your last time of being able to stand for something, to stand for freedom, to stand for the Constitution. Because what affects us today, what affects us in this election, will not only affect us now, it is going to be detrimental to your 1 year old, to your newborn, to your 5 year old, to that generation, to the next generations. That's why I sit up here. That's why I put out all kinds of videos. That's why I do hours of research. I don't get paid to do that. I do it because I feel led to do it and I feel that it is right to do it. It's that simple. You cannot let them take the one thing you have free, and that is your vote. You vote however you want to. Just make sure you vote and you vote the right way of what policies, how to protect America, how to protect our Constitution, what is right for the American people. That is what you vote for. You don't sit back and do nothing. Bless you, Miss Penrose. Good to see you. He was amazing, wasn't he? Good to see everybody. Please like, follow, and share, guys. Let's share this out. Share this podcast out. I'd appreciate it, please. Hey, Miss Janine, welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. I had a little bit of technical difficulties with the volume, but we've got it fixed now. Fear not. Trump said in Q, trust the plan. There are moves and counter moves to all of the mess. God has got this all under his control. Watch and see how good the Lord is. We will win in November. We will. We've just got to get out there and vote. You've got to make it happen. It's not going to come to you. It's not just going to lay in your lap. You have to out of one time in your entire lifetime at all, make sure you vote. Vote early if you don't want to go in November. When Super Tuesday, go vote early. Make it count. That's all I'm saying. Don't let the white noise, don't let the fear mongering, the pandering, don't let the propaganda and their bullshit narratives stop you from using your voice. Please, I beg you to please vote. Get out and do what's right for yourself and for America. We are struggling. We are having the worst time I never thought in my lifetime, and we shouldn't be. And we have an opportunity to turn it around. God is in control, but we've got to do our part too. We have to do our part too. The corrupt establishment is going to see a sea of people vote them out. This is their fear of how big we are. And do you realize that is how big we are? This is exactly what they fear. They know they're losing. They know they're losing. So they are fear mongering. Why do you think they're taking 17-year-olds that are fixing to turn 18 that would be eligible to vote in schools? They're taking children and taking them and having them to register to vote as Democrat without the parents' knowledge. They are that scared. You've got Kamala paying people to go to her rallies. It's a mental bullshit. They try to make it look good on TV, on social media, that she's got all these people in the races. They lie about the polls to get in your head to make you think it's working, it's working. And for some, it is working. For some, they believe the bullshit. Block that bullshit out. Block it out. Your main focus is just to go to that poll and vote. It doesn't take you but 5 minutes to do it. And you are going to change your life. You're going to change your children's lives. You're going to be protecting them. You would do anything for your kids as parents. You would do anything to protect them, even when they're adults. This is your chance. This is your opportunity to do that. It truly is. Don't let it just glow away. Don't let it just disappear. We can't let that happen. You just can't. Nothing can stop manifest power of God, who is the ruler of heaven and earth, and everything is subject under God's authority. God always gets the last laugh. Yes, he does. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. I don't myself with Project Mockingbird and all that other bullshit. All I'm concerning myself with is today. I concern myself with getting people out to the polls and doing the right thing. The states, everything starts at your local level. Make sure you vote in those elections as well, because it makes a difference. But let me show you a video of exactly what is going on with the teachers.
My gastids are flabbered. I was just talking to someone whose sister is a teacher in Pennsylvania, like a couple hours away from me. And she responded to an Instagram story of mine and told me that her sister has to be registered as a Democrat to be a part of the teachers union. What? So there are thousands of registered Democrats in Pennsylvania, because they're basically forced to be, that vote Republican every year. The PSEA is funded by Democrats and the school board as well. So to secure the union benefits, they register themselves as Democrats. This might not be new news to you, but it's new news to me, and that's wild. This is also why I don't believe the polls, because a lot of people are registered as one party and then vote for another party. So it's very hard to know if the polls are right or not. We ain't gonna know nothing until November 5th.
That's right. We're not going to know anything till November 5th, and that's why it's so important that you get out there. But now you have to be registered in Pennsylvania as a teacher, if you're a teacher, to be a part of the teachers union as a Democrat. Do you see how they're that scared? Do you see how they're forcing and taking your voice away? You guys, this is the most tyrannical government I've ever experienced in my entire lifetime. And here we've got Kamala. Here we have Kamala spewing the bullshit that she spews. She was going to do this. She did an interview recently. And she was going, this is the whole point. She was going to do the interview. It wasn't going to be aired live. It was going to be after the fact. Okay. Here is Kamala being interviewed. Just the
what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars, and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people.
Oh, but she has no clue. When asked many times over, what is your policy? How do you plan on doing this? Where are you going to get the money from? Because if you get the money the way you're continuously doing it and printing it, and then she goes on to say, well, we're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the billionaires. Do you know it makes it, I believe it is what, 1%, maybe 3% is billionaires? How much taxing is the difference in the American people and the billionaires? So it's still not helping the American people. Do the math, guys. It's not that hard. It's really not that freaking hard to do. Well, the lady who interviewed her had this to say.
Talk about that answer. I do, but here's what's a little tricky. She doesn't answer the question around, if the GOP is controlling the Senate, if she can't raise corporate taxes, where is she going to get the money from? To expand the child tax credit and do all the things she wants to do. And she says, we just have to do it. And that's great, and that's a campaign promise. But the issue is, if it means we're just going to borrow again, then what we're doing is we're just never addressing the deficit. And back in the days when you were a proud Republican, debts and deficits.
Exactly. She's not addressing anything. She's just saying, we're going to do this. She's not even saying what she's going to do. She's saying, well, we need to do this. All I've heard is, we're going to give you this and we're going to give you that. First off, the government never gives you anything. Your stimulus checks, you had to pay that back. They will never, ever, ever give you anything, and they don't give a shit about you. And I cannot believe the people that actually believe the words out that comes out of these crazy women's mouth. I cannot believe it. But listen to this part.
There's tariffs across the board, and that's part of the problem with Donald Trump. Frankly, I'm going to, and I say this in all sincerity, he's just not very serious about how he thinks about some of these issues. And one must be serious and have a plan, and a real plan that's not just about some talking point ending in an exclamation political rally, but actually putting the thought into what will be the return on the investment, what will be the economic impact on everyday people.
And from one soft interview to another, Joe Biden giving the ladies of The View one last good hair sniff. The leader of the free world making a special stop to the all-girl Gabfest. The hosts were giddy beyond belief and putting North Korea to shame with how much praise they heaped on the big guy.
Vice.
You were my ride or die.
You've been the best.
He just wouldn't go. He was like a bug. He just kept being there. He was like a bug right there. So you felt...
The ladies asking Joe about his replacement, forcing Biden to swallow his pride and act like everything's cool with Kamala.
What advice have you given the vice president about how to win?
Be herself. Look, she is smart as hell. As vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility. She has the energy, she has the intelligence, she has the grit, she has the stamina, and she has the guts to do the right thing.
All right, you can either take Stephanie Rule's interview or the ladies of The View, Dana.
I'm just going to take this one real quick because I never thought that Joe Biden would make a political contribution to the Trump campaign, but he did so today. Because I don't think there's any way the Harris people thought that this was going to be a good idea. He says, as vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do, and I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
Everything.
Why wouldn't you just cut that soundbite and run it in all the battleground states and, figure out a way to sabotage her?
I don't think Joe Biden is giving a lot of forethought into these interviews at this point, Greg.
Forethought. You're right. It's basically what he did was he ratted out his accomplice before the big trial. So, she was involved, totally involved. I love how Sarah Haynes compared Joe to the Beatles, which is unfair because the Beatles are only half dead. But I understand this. Look, this is kind of like the asylum watching one of the inmates go off to another place. He's going, this is his fond farewell. They really liked him because he was not Trump. They'd never had to question any of his policies. He was just bad to the bone. Tariffs, what's her name again? Stephanie Rule? And you have Kamala saying, oh, he's throwing this around. Look, man, you pushed to fund the police, cashless bail, protecting, sanctuaries for illegals. You were throwing around ideas that kill people. Tariffs are not going to kill people.
And Harold, you just said in the commercial break that she kept all of his tariffs and then even raised them.
But I think some of them they did. The question is, a lot of them they did. And that, as we talked about a lot of things in the break. A couple things. If I wasn't surprised that the View praised him on his wedding. If we brought President Trump here in his farewell, I'd be nice to him as well and would salute him too. So I think it's fine. I do think that Vice President Harris talking about the seriousness of the tariffs, I wish she would also add to that some of the very CEOs in the country who come on our business network here and say critical things about her plan. One should ask them, what do you think about tariffs on American, on foreign or imported goods? What will that do to your bottom line and your strategy? Again, I can be critical of things that I don't think are right in Vice President Harris's plan, or I wish it would be different. I just think we have to be honest about what tariffs generally do to everyday American budgets. They impose inflation or impose a tax, or put it this way, they make things more expensive for everyday people. And I've not heard, I'd love to hear CEOs be critical of Vice President Harris, sometimes they're right. I do think, again, the corporate tax rate, 28% is too high. 21 is probably about right. 15 is too low. But to say that tariffs won't put inflation or won't.
This has to stop, guys. You have to know that she is just all word salad. She doesn't have a clue how to run the country. She sits there. All I hear is about having a black president, a woman as a president. I'm sorry, I'm a woman, and this country does not need a woman as a president, period. Has nothing to do with color. No woman should be sitting at the helm of running the country, period. Period. There just shouldn't be. Women are emotional creatures, period. And she definitely doesn't know how to run a country. She can't even tell you how she can save money. She just wants to print, give, and then turn around and tax. And you know what she's giving to? They're not giving to the American people. Do you guys, have you gotten money? I haven't gotten any money. I ain't got shit. I haven't done nothing except work and pay. That's it. Tax. Get taxed on every single thing you do, every single thing you got. But then legal immigrants can come across our freaking border and they can get tons of money. And let me show you. Here is one lady who actually worked at the grocery store that can vouch for what the hell is going on. And this is in Springfield, Ohio, where the gangs are, where they just dropped off the Haitians, almost 20,000 Haitians. Guess what they got? Hang on.
I can tell you personally that when I worked at the grocery store and I cashed them out, the receipts were alarming. $13,000 on EBT food, not including the $29,000 that was on EBT cash. It's infuriating. Yes, sir.
So they're not getting 600.
And while they're dressed very well, how are you able to dress like that? Coming over here as running for help that we're supposedly helping them? How are you dressed like that when we, the American people, are scrapping for the next set of work boots? That's a problem. That's a serious problem.
$30,000 in cash. I could use just $100. I could use $20. They're getting thousands and thousands of food stamps, of cash, homes. It does not make sense. They're building their own army. They are buying votes. They are buying people. That is what they're doing. They're buying and they're selling people. I can show you some videos on here because I'll get the lives taken down, the podcast taken down on certain streams like Instagram. But they literally are human trafficking kids and making a killing. And we got the drugs coming through. This is an outrage. You should be outraged about it. A couple of children were asked a question in school.
It'd be good for us to have a black woman as president for the first time in history.
Yeah.
But my vote's kind of still on Trump.
Okay, there's one. There's another.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris?
Liar.
Liar. The kids even see it. Now, a lot of people say, well, the kids only see what and mimic what the parents do. Maybe so. But these kids are smart. And if they've seen videos and if they have, there's a lot of young 10-year-olds out there, 12-year-olds that are highly intelligent. My 14-year-old grandson is so smart. And all they do is they read and they learn. It's that simple. It's not that hard for them to understand. It is not that hard. Bush Sr. stated a new world order in 1992. Bill Clinton set NAFTA to destroy our work. Bush Jr. set censorship from after 9/11. And Obama set tyranny in full force, and now it's in full throttle. Yes, they are tyrants. Everything you said, Lee, is absolutely facts. Absolutely true. A good friend of mine, Joseph, sent me this video right before the show. I have not seen it, so I'll be watching it with you. Why do they say certain sayings that they say? And what do they mean? History tells all.
Can you please try and explain to me what you interpret by what can be unburdened by what has been? What does that mean?
There's a line in Marx where sometimes you hear certain phrases like a world to win. AOC uses the phrase, we have a world to win, which comes from the end of the Communist Manifesto, originally written in German. It was the name. I used to hang out in the Revolutionary Bookstore in Cambridge, Massachusetts with the communists because they print everything in every language. So if you're trying to learn multiple languages, they'll print the same text in all of these languages and you can compare. It basically says you have to wipe out what has been to arrive in the new.
And where's it from? What can be unburdened by what has been?
It's not a direct translation, but it occurs in Karl Marx. Now, I wasn't expecting this. I could find you the exact reference. If you think about what Mao had to do to wipe out Chinese history, what Pol Pot had to do, you're trying to wipe out memory because the memory has all of this burden. Why is it important to go after doctors and lawyers and teachers and professors? Because in some sense, they are going to resist the new order that you're about to impose. You're looking for a blank slate.
Absolutely. Build back better. See, I didn't catch on to these slogans that they say. Build back better. You would think, common sense, you'd think, okay, they just want to build things better than what they are. You would take it for what it is. But if you deep dive and you go further than that, a lot of these slogans honestly have been used by Marxists, by Hitler, by other socialists, communists. But build back better is how we live, how we've been, our freedoms. They want to tear it down like they're doing, tear the Constitution away, get to their one world order, their Agenda 2030, 15-minute cities, tear it down and build it back the way they see better. Not what is better for the American people, but for what their sick ideology is. That is what Build Back Better means. And what he's talking about, burden, he's absolutely correct. That's why they go after the doctors. That's why they go after the lawyers. That's why they go after the smart. That's why they go after free thinkers. Why do you think they want to silence us? I get silenced every day on platforms. I am on my 53rd account that I have counted. I've probably had over 100. I have been silenced on TikTok for almost a week and a half now. I get muted on Facebook. I get took down on Instagram. I get took down on all these platforms for telling the truth, for speaking the truth, for just sitting here happily telling you what this tyrannical government is doing. Do you not see what they did to Trump after 2020 election? They completely silenced him. Now imagine, they silenced him. They silenced us during COVID. They blocked out the truth of what the doctors were trying to tell you of what you could take, what you shouldn't take, and what was really going on. They needed ultimate control to make you believe what they needed you to believe. It was that there are emails that are proving it. Cheney involved. January 6th, all that shit was created. And Roseanne Barr, good for you. I love that lady, man. She speaks it. She ain't afraid to say what the hell needs to be said. That's probably why I lose a lot of accounts, because I'm not either, and nor should you.
They overthrew the constitutional republic of the United States of America. And then they covered it up with their because the first thing President Trump did, God bless it.
I love her, man. She just gets out there and she just tells it like it is. And that's what everybody should do. Don't let, hey, if they silence you, make another account. If you get one video out and it's the freaking truth, it was worth it. Fight against the system. You cannot let them win. You can't give in. You can't give up. I myself and millions of others go through this on a daily basis, but we don't let it stop us. Don't let it stop you. Bill Bell says attorneys in the bar did it already in 1871. And Ben, baby stepping communism in the states, now states ever since. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate you. Attorneys can be a big part of the problem. Absolutely. And I agree with you when it comes to the Chevron Act shows that because Congress hadn't been really voting on any of these bills. It's been lobbyists and it's been your three-letter agencies that have pushed this shit through when it should have been Congress doing their job. But they haven't. All they cared about was getting paid. See, they got paid for their silence. They got paid to not do what's right by the American people. Is there any honest congressmen out there? Is there any honest people out there anymore that can be in our government and give a freak about the American people? Or is it that they are so evil and money hungry that they're willing to sacrifice the American people because they're going to be okay? They're lining their freaking fat ass pockets. They're going to be just fine. But the American people out here are the ones paying and lining your fat ass pockets, dudes. So get off your asses, and ladies, get off your asses and get the hell out of Congress if you're not going to do the job the American people put you in there to do. Term limits, period. Get rid of the lobbyists. They are nothing but trouble. Get rid of the lobbyists. Plain and simple. Trump has such great policies. I said the word policies, which is a word that this administration has no idea about. She wants to go and take his policies, but he's orange man bad. He doesn't do anything for the country, but you want to take his policies. Why do you think on the debate she wanted to know what would he do about insurance and health care? Because then she wanted to turn around and take his plans. It wasn't that he didn't want to tell us what it was. That man's smart. That man's playing 8D chess, if there is such as a freaking thing, over when they're playing freaking hopscotch, checkers. They don't know shit. And it's infuriating when I see Democrats run their freaking mouth and continuously have nothing to say except where he's got indictments against him. You know what? I'm glad all of the dirt of whatever Trump has ever done in his life that he isn't even guilty of, privy to, that the foundations do. You have people in charge and control. You can't monitor every single individual. And half those charges that they had were identical. They were duplicates. There was one little thing different from another, but the charges were duplicates, plain and simple. You guys get off your ass and use your voice and say, you know what, government, go fuck yourself. It's that simple. You don't know shit. You don't take care of the American people. You're not out here boots on the ground having to live it the way we are. You don't care about us. You ain't getting my vote. See, they take your votes away. Period. They're in total control. Imagine a country with no constitution. That's what separates us from any other country. We have a constitution. We have to fight for that constitution. We have to fight for that freedom. We have to use our voice. That's how it's done. It's that simple. And when you sit back idly and you allow it to continue and you don't vote and you don't use your voice, hey, I don't want to hear you bitching when you ain't got no food or when the immigrants have overran and you're out on the street and they're living nicely in your apartment or in your house, or they're getting all the kickbacks. They're getting all the money, not having to pay interest rates or anything. and they're getting all the jobs. I don't want to hear a single person bitch about it if you didn't get up and you didn't go to the poll and you vote. You have no say in it if you don't use the one thing that you could use to have a say in it. So I don't want to hear the bullshit. Well, this and that. Well, did you vote? No. Well, then shut the fuck up. Because if you're not going to get up and do something about it, don't run your mouth about it. Run your mouth about it and then go do something about it. Go vote. That's what you can freaking do. Get off your asses and vote. It's that simple. Never mess with the enemy while they are in the process of destroying themselves, and let them continue to show their wickedness, because it makes us chase them down and vote those evil ones out. Well, that's the point. They got to get up and they got to vote. It's that simple. If you're not going to vote, shut the hell up and go become a Democrat if you're not going to vote. Go become a Democrat if you're not going to vote. It's plain and simple. I am so sick of the bullshit. I get so infuriated over people when I sit on these lives and I debate on these lives and I talk to people on these lives. We have got so much bullshit going on in our country right now, and you should be pissed off. You should be up here. You should be on your platform. You should be making a video. You should be screaming it from the rooftops of what they are doing to this country. It takes more than one. It takes more than 1,000. It takes more than 1,000,000. It takes numbers of voices to fucking put these people in their place and to remove them from office. Don't bitch about it if you're not going to do something about it. If you're not going to get up and vote, I don't want to freaking hear it. Go live your life. You feel it's happy. And whenever you're in the street, then you want to do something about it. Don't wait when it's too late. This is what they've done with Zelensky. You know, Zelensky came to town. They were signing these warhead bombs. They were doing all this shit. And that little twerp, Oompa, decided to stand up and tell the American people that if you do not go along with the WHO and the UN of what we voted on, then you are considered just as bad as Russia. He stood on American freaking soil and insulted the American people. How dare you? How dare you, little twerp of a man? How freaking dare you, you little Oompa Loompa, you little shit turd. I got a lot of names for that little fucktard. I am so pissed. Zelensky, you need to go back over there. You have been taking too much money from the American people for far too long. And the American people are saying no fucking more. But no, this administration in office, you got Kamala, well, I'm going to change things around. I'm going to fix things. Bitch, you're in office right now. You're in office. You created all of this. You guys created this shit. It's that simple. You create the problem. You control the food, then you control the people. They make you to where you're destitute, you're poor, and you have to beg. They are evil. They are so freaking evil. Evil. But this.
All right, word broke late today that the House GOP is launching its own investigation into the Zelensky trip and whether the use of U.S. government aircraft to fly him from New York to what appeared to be a political event in any way violates U.S. law. Joining me now are Congressman Eli Crane from Arizona and Lance Gooden from Texas. Congressman Gooden, you're behind this investigation. What can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that my colleagues and I have a lot of questions. How much taxpayer funds were spent on this C-17 that brought the president over? Why were Secret Service agents that seem to be underwhelming in their security of Donald Trump posted up in Pennsylvania? Why were no Republicans invited to this event? And just exactly how bad is President Zelensky's judgment to be making this appearance and upsetting half of the American populace? Why is it that he would criticize Donald Trump, who has a very good chance of being commander-in-chief in just a few months? As you said, it was terrible judgment. And what I want to know is, why is he not on his knees thanking Americans, Republicans and Democrats, for the sacrifices they've made for his nation? And how dare he come into our nation and opine on any election, much less the presidential race?
As he's saying, he's not doing that, which is precisely what he's doing. He did have some perfunctory thanks to Americans and legislators in both parties, so he did do that. But Congressman Crane, it looks like Zelensky got everything he wanted. The U.S. is sending an additional $375 million in military aid to Ukraine, including medium-range cluster bombs. Now, this is at the same time as Zelensky insisting that U.S. weapons should be able to be used deeper inside Russian territory. What's the danger here?
Hey, Laura, thanks for having me on. I think you nailed it in your opening when you talked about what this really means. And what this really means, as far as I'm concerned, if Americans elect Vice President Kamala Harris to be the commander-in-chief, you're going to see more chaos around the world. As far as Zelensky campaigning for Vice President Harris, I think it's great. I hope they put him on that C-17, fly him all over the country into every battleground.
I hope they put him on the plane too. I hope everyone sees exactly what's going on. I can't believe you'd even think about putting that witch. They talk about democracy. Democrats talk about democracy. That's the one main go-getter that they talk about is democracy. We're a constitutional republic, you idiots. But they talk about their democracy. But you know what? What little democracy you did have, you faltered. You allowed them to take that from you and say, Kamala's running. We're going to shove her in your face. We're going to shove her up your ass. And then you got old Waltz. Don't get me started on that one. You got him, and he is being shoved in their face. And you know what? They sit back and they say, we'll eat the pie. Here's your pie. Eat it. We'll eat it as much as you want. Whatever you say, you guys can kiss my ass. You know what, Democrats? Kiss my country. I'm so sick of it. And I can say that, you know why? Because I am an American and I am a born freaking American. And I can say that. You can censor me. You can try to shut me up, but I'm not going anywhere, you stupid bitches. I'm not going anywhere. And you can't make me. This is what happens when desperation takes place. If they were truly in control, the deep state wouldn't be doing this. This confirms how terrified they are coming in 40 days. They're scrambling. I agree, Lee. They are scrambling, but I get pissed off. I get pissed off because I love my country. It's that simple. I love my country. And I want my future generations to have a country. I want them to have a constitution. I want them to have freedoms. I don't want them to be controlled. I don't want them to be sold. I don't want them to be harmed. I want their children to be able to have it when I'm dead and gone. I want them to experience the truth. I want them to experience the freedom that I got to experience. I don't want them growing up in a 15 freaking minute city where they try to make it sound all this and that. And you don't have to go far. You know what, bitches? I want to get in my gas powered freaking car and I want to drive it as far as I freaking want to. I don't want to go 15 minutes and then have to get approval to go outside that and eventually not be able to. What do you think they want to do outside the 15-minute cities? If they enclosed all of America in these 15-minute cities, what do you think they'd be doing on the outside? Worse than what they do now. They have lost 320-something thousand children. They ain't lost them. They've sold them. That's what they've done. They've done horrendous things to these kids, and nobody on Capitol Hill is doing anything about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. What do you think they'll do to you? What do you think they'll do to your kids? What do you think they'll do, period? They lock you down. They're going to have surveillance. Oh, you can go to the doctor just 15 minutes away. And before long, they'll close you in even further. It's that simple. That's how they work. That's how they work. You guys, I have to put Instagram back up because it only lets me go for an hour and I've been rambling for an hour. I got to get another. Link. I hate Instagram. You do that shit on purpose. It's such a bullshit move on your part. You have to put another link in, all that good jazz. We'll get them back going. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get Instagram coming back up. There we go. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. For the weapons of warfare, they are not carnal, but mighty, pulling down the strongholds. God is calling out to all nations. Let my people go, and God will liberate us. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Sure will. Sorry, guys, on Instagram, it only lets me go for an hour, and then it shuts down, so I had to put another link in. Glad to see you guys back. Good to see you back. We're about at the end of it. Mayor Adams, I'm torn on this situation. I'm kind of conflicted. As he says the charges aren't true and this and that. And then they came out, we'll hear in a minute, and said that he had make-believe things up. We have a two-tier justice system. And a few months back, Adams decided to go against the elites, go against this administration and say, look, we may be a sanctuary city, but no more. No more. Send them back. I mean, he had enough. And since then, they've raided him. They've raided his assistants. They raided his home today. And now they're indicting him and bringing him up on charges. Now, if he has done wrong, absolutely, charge his ass. But if he hasn't, let's listen to hear what he has been charged.
As we allege in the indictment, in addition to not disclosing these benefits, Adams sometimes created fake paper trails to try to cover up the travel benefits he solicited and received. Let me give you one example. Adams wrote emails to his staff suggesting he paid for his 2017 business class flights on the Turkish airline when, as we allege, he did not. Those flights were worth a lot of money. Just one ticket alone cost more than $10,000. But months after taking the flights, Adams wrote an email to a staff member and told the staff member that he had left cash in her desk drawer and that she should send the money to the Turkish airline to pay for a trip he had already taken. As the indictment makes clear, that's just a clumsy cover-up. Now, just because Adams...
So that is some of the charges against him. Now here, this is part 2 of the one guy. This cracked me up.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad. I'm sitting up here trying to focus my chi. I can't. Because New York Mayor Adams, like, come on, man. Being indicted. Yeah, he Democrat. I know I'm voting for Trump. But look, we got P. Diddy already being involved. We already focusing on all our energy on one indictment already. On P. Diddy. And we trying to, figure out how is it that Jeffrey Epstein didn't get no play. None. P. Diddy get on screen, he get all the play. Here come the New York mayor getting all the play. We don't even know nothing about no wiretapping. All we know about is Hollywood humiliation, ritual shame. We all know about criminal case. We don't, come on, y'all. We being played again.
Do you think we're being played again? I believe they put it out there like this. See, Diddy was untouchable. Diddy was just so untouchable for so long. And now, I'm going to post on my Telegram everything I talk about, and everything I show here, and a whole slew of other things. I put on my Telegram. It's country_crazy chat. We get together, we chat, we put all kinds of information out that we can't put out in other areas without getting taken down. But you guys, there's a lot of information over there. You have to go look. I'm going to be posting. If you guys are familiar with Allie, she, for the last few years, has come out. She was trafficked from a young age, and she was part of Diddy's parties, and she's come out and she's been trying to get people involved, and she's had to stay on the run. She's having to move again. She's having to run again because they found out where she was at again. She stated that if they looked on the videos of some of the parties, they would see what he did to her. I will post her 30-minute video on the Telegram, and you guys can hear it from her own mouth. And she also has a Telegram channel called Allie's Army. Very, very influential. Keep me in prayer, Tara. It's getting rough here with the hurricane. Just had a power surge. Everyone, please keep Lee and everyone else in Tampa in your prayers. This is a really bad hurricane. Some meteorologists are saying they haven't seen one like this in a very long time. And it's a very dangerous storm. And we need to pray for others that are out there. Lock him up. Did he ask for the keys? Yeah, he had to turn that key back in too. He had to turn that back in too. Prayers for everyone, Lord. We have to stay in prayer. At this point, we have spiritual warfare going. I agree with you with Diddy. He's a vile human being. I do believe he's being housed in Brooklyn, and his mate in the cell is none other than Sam Bankman-Fried of the FTX scandal that happened recently. I did some research. I knew there's some kind of connection between this. Well, one of the backers and one of the main people that he hung out with all the time, Sam Bankman, was an executive over a talent agency which signed Katy Perry and many other music moguls. Then he became part of Universal and other music companies. Then you have Diddy's music company and you have other music companies. They're all intertwined. So my question is, they have placed him in the cell with this man. So I believe there's a connection there. I can't put my finger on it just yet. I believe there is a connection there. I do believe there will be so much more information dropped on all of this, child trafficking and sex trafficking. It will be a damn breaking open. Diddy is the open gate to what is coming. I believe you're right, Lee. I do believe that. I believe that Epstein list was nothing compared to what we're fixing to see, and I believe we're going to see the Epstein list unfold in real time. I truly do. I believe that that's one thing we're going to see happening. I love how you've got Pink, you've got Usher, you've got many other entertainers that have completely wiped huge parts of their messages on their social media platforms. They're hiding so much. And people that have been best friends with Diddy, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they've done. They know what's coming. They definitely know what's coming. And that's just the way it goes. So we just have to stay vigilant. But everyone, tonight, make sure you pray for the individuals that are in the path of the storm. It could get pretty dangerous. They're talking about a 20-foot surge. They're also talking about the bans covering over 20 states. This is huge. This is huge. I mean, my boss, we're even going to have to work from home tomorrow because she doesn't want us to drive out. And I'm in Tennessee, and it's supposed to get pretty bad. Right now, it's windy. They're calling for major winds and stuff here, but nothing compared to what's going on in Tampa, in Florida, in the other areas, in Georgia, Alabama. So keep them in your prayers. That's what we have to do. We have to band together and make sure you get out and vote, guys. We have to vote. We have to stand together. We have to save this constitutional republic. We're the last line of defense. And with that said, guys, I appreciate everyone. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow night. It's Friday night, tomorrow night. We'll be back here tomorrow night. I'll be on at 7 p.m. Central. It'll be 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you here. I've been going on earlier that way. I had people messaging me, can you go on earlier? Because I'd love to hear the podcast. Absolutely. So you asked, and I'm doing. So I appreciate you guys. Yes, you're right, Lee. Our God will supply our needs according to the riches of his glory. Amen. And with that, everyone on Instagram, I appreciate it. Held Accountable, Cat Williams called it. Oh, yeah, I watched that. They did buy all the judges long ago. It's a lot of things that's taken place. Everybody just stand firm. Stand firm. That's all we have to do is make sure we stand firm. And at the end of the day, God has got us and he's in control. And with that, everyone, I'll see you here tomorrow night. And like I said, if you would like to know more about a lot of the stuff, go to Telegram if you haven't at country_crazy chat. And we'll learn so much more together. And as always, my favorite saying, Country crazy.
She's got a voice louder than a howling midnight wind, bringing truth to the airways with a whiskey grin. Country crazies, she calls her waking up the blind. One by one, gonna open up their minds. Late night sessions, microphones hot and raw, taking down the lies, striking like a lightning's claw. Viewers addicted to her wild rebel yell. In this savage world, she's taking you out from hell. Country crazy's gonna get you straight. Truth bombs dropping, ain't